Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream live on Twitch on Mondays and Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States, which is midday if you're in Australia or 1 a.m. if you're in the UK. As always, remember if you do miss the live streams, you can watch them at any time by clicking the videos tab at the top of my Twitch page. They won't expire. I upload them, I edit them and upload them after the stream. So Smurfberry Barbecue says 5 minutes late, tut tut. It wasn't my fault, Smurfberry. It was Twitch. I started the stream at the appropriate time and I was getting network 2000 errors. So I had to stop the stream and start the stream and stop the stream 4 times. I had to start the stream 4 times before the network error went away. So we should be good. So it wasn't my fault. But yes, we are 5 minutes late. Anyway, fingers crossed for stream stability. Tell me about it. I know. That network 2000 error this morning threw me. I haven't had one of those for a while. Twitch has been stable-ish for a while. This is Twitch. We know what Twitch is like. Everything should be good. If it's not, let me know. We have our transcoding. That was the other reason I had to start the stream a couple of times to get transcoding to kick in. Excuse me for a sec, guys. We should be good now. So, all good things are worth waiting for. Or how does that saying go? All good things come to those who wait. I think that's how it goes. And we're here and we're ready to go. As always though, guys, remember if you have any questions while I'm working, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me. You won't disturb me. The whole reason I'm on Twitch is to encourage you guys to do 3D. So if you've got questions or anything you want to ask, jump into chat and ask me. If you just want to jump in and say hello, that's always welcome. But if all you want to do is watch, that's completely fine. Smurfberry says, I think both of those are sayings, but I can't wait anymore. Show polygons. We will show some polygons. So we are working on the House in the Hollow game, which is available to wishlist now on Steam. Click the tab below my panels. Shameless self-promotion. There's a little panel that says the House in the Hollow, a little graphic. If you click that, it'll take you to the Steam page for the game where you can wishlist it. It's not due to be released till the end of the year though. We're working on the master bedroom for that. Yesterday we were working on the master 4 poster bed and we're going to continue doing that today. We did UV mapping yesterday. We're just going to do some cleanup work on the UVs today. And then we're going to do some vertex coloring, which won't take too long. And then we're going to jump into Substance Painter. So without further ado, let's jump into Max. So I've just thrown a checker pattern down so we can check our UV texel density, and there are a couple of problems here and there, so let's fix them up. Problem number 1. The texels here are a bit stretched, so let's fix that by copying the unwrap from this one. Let's detach that piece. Anyone would think I had this prepared before I started the stream. Select it and paste the UV map down. I do try and organize things. It might look haphazard, but I do try and make sure that when I'm streaming I know what I'm doing and everything's ready to go, generally. Let's detach this piece. And paste down our UVs. Just wondering what's going on there. Doesn't look quite right. What is going on there? Should be fine. That's not a problem with the UV map. Not that I can see anyway. But we'll play it safe. Let's go to the last one and see if we have the same problem, and we might take that piece back into Rhizome and just re-UV map it quickly. This one's doing the same thing. It's unusual. I'm not sure why that's behaving like that, but let us just recenter the pivot. And let us send that piece over to Ryzen. Let's try the automated tools and see what it gets us. Should be fine. A little bit of stretching at the top, but that shouldn't be a problem. Because I'd rather just the one seam line. We'll fix the textile density of that one up in a minute when we reattach everything. Let's just do the same for this piece here. In fact, what we could probably do here is throw an unwrap down instead of jumping back into Horizon, which is no big deal, but we should be able to fix it here. Yeah. Let's just grab our scale tool, scale it up. And we can probably do the same for this one actually. So if I just turn off Horizon, actually I'll just delete it. We'll throw an unwrap down and move so we can see both. There, that's quicker and easier. Okay, what else have we got? What else have we got here? Okay, these pieces. We're having a problem with the UV mapping here. So I'm just going to copy the unwrap from this one. Let's detach that piece. And paste our UVs down. And again, we're having that problem. Very odd. Very odd. Not sure why that's happening. Alright. We can't fix the UVs this way. We're going to have to send this piece to Ryzen. So. Okay, let's send it back. Again, we'll fix the UV textile density up when we come to repack everything. The bed is like it's a complicated mesh, so it's not unusual to have problems like this. They're not really problems. Just an inconvenience. But you see how quick it is for me to re-UV map it, so. Okay. What else? Before I do anything else, I'm going to reattach those pieces and repack the mesh. Have I forgotten anything? No, they stay separate. I think that's everything. Let's throw down an unwrap. Select all of our pieces and get Max to repack it. Now I'm doing a repack that without scaling or rotation. I want to keep the textile density the same. Looks much better, but we have a couple of pieces left that are a little bit weird, so let's fix them up. First things first, it's this piece through the back here. And this one here, so let's detach that. Let's throw an unwrap down and have a look at our UVs. I'm holding the shift key down while I do this. If I want to restrict, if you're a Mac user and you want to restrict the scaling to either horizontal or vertical, hold down the shift key. Okay, should have fixed that problem up. We have the same problem up here at the top. Sorry Smurf, I just saw your message. Smurfery says, what colour are you thinking for the hanging fabric? I'm thinking a burgundy, a burgundy red with gold, with like a gold damask pattern on it. Basically that's just like gold swirls. So yeah, I'm thinking like this deep. I actually have a texture made up. I made up a texture in Substance Alchemist that we should look cool. I don't know yet until we put it on them, but it should look cool. And it's deep burgundy red color with gold swirly bits in a pattern of gold swirls through it, similar to the pattern that was in the bathroom. You remember the bathtub? We had those curtains that were a deep emeraldy green color with the gold. It's that style, but in a burgundy. I think that'll look cool. We'll see what it looks like. If it doesn't, we can change it. Yeah, so that's the plan. Let's start by removing this piece here. Now I'm not going into isolation mode while I work here with the textile density because I need to match it up, so I need to keep the whole model in view. Let's throw down an unwrap. Scale it down. Scale it out. Hit the wrong button on the keyboard. You'll notice that our UVs are outside of the 0 to 1 space, but we're going to do a repack on this anyway, so it's not really an issue. I mean, just because I'm a little anal that way, I'm just going to move them in anyway, but it's not necessary. Max will do it for us when it does a repack. Okay, let's do the next one. In fact, I'm wondering if we can even cheat here and let's see if we can copy the unwrap across. There we go. Much quicker and easier. I'm not sure if we can do it on these pieces, but we will try. Let's see. Up. No, maybe. No, it's actually a bit different. So, but we can use it as a starting point. needs to be scaled up just a little bit. Or scaled down, I think. But now we should be able to copy that UV map. To this piece here. Okay. These pieces here looking a little squished, so I'm just going to select those. Okay. Let's see if we can just do a regular scale on this. Wrong way. No, it's not really gonna. Not really gonna work for what we want. Select this piece and detach it. This one's not too bad, but I'm noticing the one on the other side looks a little strange, so let's detach that. Let's select this piece and copy and unwrap. That's better. Any other pieces that look odd? Bed head looks alright. Close look okay. Let's do a reattach of everything again. Done with the curtains because they're going to be a separate object when we bring it into the Unreal Engine so that we can instance it. I think that's everything. Let's throw down a final unwrap UVW and get Max to do a repack. See, there are a couple out here, so I must make sure I zoom out enough. So if any are floating outside of that 0 to 1, I grab them all. And now our texel density should be okay. Again, I'm just going to check the headboard. Yep. Alrighty, let's check the texel density on the curtain now. Now I know it's a different texel density to the bed. We could scale it up if we want it to be exactly the same, but it doesn't matter because this piece is separate from the bed frame, so the texel density doesn't have to match if it's a separate object. And we're only texturing one because then we're going to instance it for the other two. Now let's check this little piece as well. And same dealing. It's a separate actually, I'm trying to work out now if I'm going to keep it as a separate object or the same as part of the curtain. Keeping it as part of the curtain might be better because it's going to be difficult-ish to position inside of the editor if I don't. So what we might do here is attach the both of them together, but I want to keep, we'll attach both of them together, I think. Just going to do a quick save just in case anything happens, because you never know. Let's select these curtains and isolate it so we're not distracted by everything else. Collapse that stack. Just want to check something before I do an attach here. Collapse that stack. Basically, I just want to make sure it's going to still be easy. They're still sub-objects. Otherwise, it's going to make it very difficult for me to select them. No, that's fine when we come to do vertex coloring, but that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, no, that'll be all right. So let's attach these two pieces together as well. So start with the curtain and attach the curtain tie. Now we do want to make sure the textile density is the same because they're one object. So let's do an unwrap. And repack. Now our textile density matches. Okay. Well, considering we have the curtain here, actually, let me just double check to make sure. That's right, we need to make sure these pieces are done now. So I think with this, what I'm going to do is the bottom mattress, the top mattress, and the blanket will all be one object. The pillows, again, we'll just export one and we'll instance it 2 more times in the engine. And I want that as a separate object as well. Because I might make these, at least one of the pillows anyway, interactable in the game so that the player can pick it up and search it for clues and all that sort of stuff. So let's start attaching these pieces together. Curtain physics, yes, no, no. No curtain physics. There's physics and everything else, like the hanging lamps and lights, the doors and stuff, they're all physics, but no, the curtains won't be physics. There's no, you're not really, I mean, in the game there are like hanging tapestries on the wall, they're physics. Much immersion. There are tapestries hanging on the walls in the manor house, they're physics objects, so. These curtains though, you're not going to get a lot of movement out of them anyway because they're like tied down. So even if we did turn them into a physics object, I mean, apart from maybe getting a bit of flutter through the top, you're not really going to get a lot of movement on them anyway. And the more physics, the slower the engine will perform. So at this stage, we'll say no. Not for these sort of assets, no. But there is physics, cloth physics in the game. There's banners hanging from the ceiling. There's, like I said, Persian rugs hanging from the walls. That's all physics as well, cloth physics. I don't really think the player, like I said, because they'd move so little anyway if they were a physics object, would even notice them in the game when they're playing it. Yeah, I think it would be a waste of engine resources really to turn them into physics objects. Cloth physics objects. But there is cloth physics in the game, so don't fret. You do get your cloth physics in the game, just not on these pieces. So let's start with the base and let's do an attach to the second mattress. That's fine, and let's attach the blanket as well as one object. So now we have to do an unwrap and make sure our textile density is correct. Let's just throw down that checker pattern to check it. And that looks good. The same with the pillow here. It's going to be its own separate object, but I'm just going to throw that checker pattern down to check the textile density. Again, it's smaller, but it makes no difference because it's a separate object. I think that's all we need to do for the bed as far as UV mapping goes now. I think everything is textured up. UV mapped, I should say. Is UV mapped correctly? Mercury says, good, there are enough pillows for a proper pillow fight. That's right, you get 3 pillows on this bed. I might even put more on the bed when I come to actually design the room inside of the engine, inside of Unreal. I have 4 pillows, I think, on my bed upstairs. Yeah, 4. Large pillows. Actually, I've got a bit of a sore neck. I think I slept funny on one of my pillows last night. I've got like this sore neck. Okay, let's select everything and just assign a plain texture because we don't need to check the textile density no more. Just going to get my viewport organized here and do a save. Now we have to start doing vertex coloring, so I'm going to start with the curtains. Collapse the stack, select the curtain, and we'll make that color. Let's make it an aqua blue. This is only so we can separate the texture map up when we jump into Substance Painter. So let's do a select invert, and let's make the tie a yellow. So it's going to be a goldy sort of colour when I texture it up. Let's check our colouring, make sure we haven't forgotten anything, and that looks fine. I'm going to keep it this colour as I work, and that way if I miss any pieces I'll know. Now let's work to the mattress next. Alright, so collapse the stack. I want the base mattress and this upper. Do I want it? Don't I? Yeah, I think we'll make the base and the top mattress the same color. So let's make that, well, the same texture, I should say. So let's make it like a purple. And then I want the blanket to be a separate shader. It'll be part of the same texture map, but a separate shader. And we'll make that a blue. Again, let's turn on vertex coloring. Now the pillow, it's going to be its own object, doesn't really need to be any vertex coloring on it. Now the bed. The bed is what we're going to have to start being a bit more careful with, so let's isolate the bed. Alright, so we're going to go with our standard chocolate wood, cherry wood combination we've used for most of the furniture in the building. Again, we do that so that we keep consistency in all of the assets. You don't want a hodgepodge of different types of furniture unless that's the look you're going for, and that's not the look I'm going for. So cherry wood, chocolate wood, and gold. So let's see. These bottom pieces here, I'm going to collapse my stack. We're going to make the legs gold because they're going to be metal. We're also going to make the very top peaky pieces the same texture, which will be a gold metal. And about halfway down, we're also going to make the little joins here along the posts metal as well. So let's make all of those a yellow. Yellowish colour. There we go. Let's make these little studs metal as well, but there'll be a different type of metal. So let's make those a blue. Whoops. Now, how do I want to design this? Let's make these pieces, these round pieces, because they're very different from the rest of the post. We might even make those like a walnut instead of a chocolate or a cherry. We'll play it by ear when we jump into Substance Painter. We'll see what looks good. So let's make those their own colour. Let's make them a green. So these pieces here, I could have made those a metal as well. Yeah, maybe I should do that. Because it matches this piece here. Yeah, I think we really should. We should make these as a metal. Let's make them a different. They were initially part of the same metal that we had at the base and on the spiky bits, but let's change the color of those, give them a unique color so we can make them a different type of metal, because that might look more interesting. So let's make that. Let's go with a dark green. So that leaves these wooden pieces. Let's make. Let's make these ones are chocolate wood, including these swirly bits at the top. Just trying to imagine what combination would look good. So if it looks like I'm just spacing out, not doing anything, I am actually trying to imagine what the different colours, what combination of colours would look good. Euro, it's good to see you, Euro. Euro says, depends on your budget. My Twitch is twitching, pesky thing. Yeah, well, I was saying to Smurfberry this morning, I was 5 minutes late starting because I kept getting Network 2000 errors on Twitch every time I tried to start the stream. So I had to start the stream 4 times. It should be good now though, I think. So Twitch be twitching, as usual. Not just for you, but it was doing it for me this morning as well. Oh, Twitch. We love you. We love you, Twitch. Even though you break half the time, we love you. What's the alternative? YouTube? Ooh, who streams on YouTube? Nobody. That's who. Nobody. My apologies to anyone that streams on YouTube. So chocolate, cherry, cherry, chocolate. What combination do I want? I think I was going to make these chocolate. I think I'll make these cherry. I think I'll make these swirly thingies. We'll make them a chocolate. So cherry for that piece, cherry for these pieces. We're going to make that back piece there. We'll make that a combination of metal and wood. I don't know whether cherry or chocolate at this stage. I should decide now before I finish up. We'll make that a chocolate. I could make that a cherry, and I can make those metal. Because we have to sort of maybe, I'm thinking, do you remember the bookcase we did last week? We need to sort of match the bookcase a little bit, and the top of the bookcase was mainly metallic with a bit of wood. So I want to do the same sort of thing to the bed head. Euro says they were doing panel maintenance earlier. Probably a side of, yeah, that's true. They were doing panel maintenance. I did read that on their Twitter support page. They were telling us that we couldn't rearrange our panels while they were doing maintenance for it. And every time, I don't know why, every time Twitch does maintenance, whether they do something, they add a feature to Twitch or they do anything, it always seems to break the front end. I don't understand how doing work on the back end can break the front end. But anyway, what do I know? It just seems to happen all the time. Very, very strange. Anyway. Yeah, so yeah, they were doing maintenance on the panels, the Twitch panels. And that is probably the reason. You're probably 100% correct. So if they're cherry, then this piece here can be cherry, and this piece at the top here can be cherry, and this piece in here can be cherry. Like, why is that piece even there? We'll come back to that in a minute. I don't actually think I really need that piece in there. I don't even know why it's in there. It's really not necessary. We'll remove it in a sec. I mean, it's no big deal to leave it there. It's only a box. It's not like it's going to take up a huge amount of polygons, but I really don't think it's necessary for the headboard. So if we make all of those pieces cherry, make those chocolate. So if that's chocolate, they're chocolate. Then I guess we should make the top pieces cherry as well. The boards inside of the frame will make chocolate, just for something different. So cherry, 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 cherry. Yeah, let's do that. So let's make this a red. So that leaves chocolate, 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 and chocolate. And the headboard, that will make that chocolate, that chocolate, that chocolate, chocolate, and chocolate, and chocolate. And then also, that's going to be cherry. Do I want this wood or do I want this metal? Should be metal to better match the bookcase. But do I really want to match the bookcase that closely? Yeah, we'll make them metal because that's cherry, that piece there, cherry wood. So we'll make these pieces metal. So we're doing chocolate, aren't we? Yes, chocolate. So I think we need that chocolate as well. Euro says, woo, all the stuff I need to repair my monitor has shipped. It's now a race between Amazon and an electronic component supply company as to which bits arrive first, both promising by tomorrow. Well, that was quick. You know, I'm a Prime member, Amazon Prime member, and I find their delivery pretty good, Amazon. It's always on time generally, and it's always very fast. If I'm ordering from the Amazon in this country, if I'm getting it shipped from Amazon US, then it takes 2 weeks. But I generally find local delivery pretty quick for Amazon. And it's free if you're a Prime member, which is even better. Don't pay for shipping. But yeah, well, so woohoo, you can start pulling your monitor apart soon and fixing it. So these are going to be chocolate, so let's make them a separate colour. Euro says, with my location, it depends on courier. Thankfully, this time it was national mail service for both items, so a true race. Okay, so they're both coming via the same mail provider. Let's make it a purple. Let us know how it goes as to which one comes first. I'm curious to know. We're going to make these two a separate colour, and they're going to be a metal. I'm running out of colours here. Let's make it an orangey colour. And then this central piece here, the circle, is also going to be a separate material, metallic material. And let's make that I don't know, really dark green, I guess. Euro says, yeah, if things go courier, I could wait a few days or a week, depending if they truck it or ship it, like literally on a ship. Oh wow, that stuff takes nearly a month to arrive. Like if you order stuff from China, I don't know about you guys in the United States, but in Australia, we're pretty close to China. But if you order stuff from China and it's shipped like normally, like usually free shipping from China, it usually comes via ship and it can take 3 to 4 weeks to arrive. Just insane amount of time. As opposed to like a normal week to get stuff shipped from China if you're paying for shipping. I'm not talking about using like DHL or FedEx or anything, just normal airmail takes about a week. But if you use the free shipping option from China, it takes about a month. So yeah, you don't want to be in a hurry for your item. Let's turn on vertex coloring so we can see if we've missed anything. And we have missed the headboard. And we've also missed these little pieces up here. We're going to make the headboard can stay as white because that's a separate colour on its own, because white is a colour, black is a colour. But I don't want these pieces to be white, so let's make them a different colour. And let's go with, we can go with a grey. Again, grey is a colour too. So, I don't think we've forgotten anything. I think everything is vertex coloured. Cherry wood where it's red, chocolate wood where it's purple, maybe a walnut where it's this green up here. Metal where it's these middle pieces, metal where it's the top and the bottom here, metal where it's yellow here and here. And that, I'm not sure what we'll do with the headboard. We might use we might make it like a leather, which is a bit, yeah, very European, I guess. Leather bed head. My bed is a sleigh bed, by the way. So yeah, I have an all completely wooden sleigh bed. I don't generally like leather on my bed. It's okay for a couch, but not for a bed. Euro says like literally on a ship. Yeah. Euro said I had some things they shipped go to the wrong island and had to wait for it to sail. Oh man, that'd be annoying. So they literally sent it to the wrong island. Wow. And you had to wait for it to be sent all the way back by ship. That would be annoying. Because I'm impatient at the best of times anyway. I want things immediately. I don't want to have to wait. So yeah, that would piss me off. Let's unhide everything so we can check that everything is colour mapped now correctly. And it should be. I think we're ready to start doing some texturing in Substance Painter. Euro says, well, it was in the wrong container, so ended up in the wrong place. Oh, okay. FX Node, good to see you. How are you? FX Node says, I can't decide what resolution to stream my desktop on Twitch. I guess it's not so important. The menu is somewhere over there, sort of thing. Euro says they're better now than they were, but I still opt for Royal Mail whenever I can. Sounds like a wise. I think that's a wise thing to do, Euro. And I'm sorry, FX Node, I can't help you there with your problem. All right, so let's do a save here. Yeah, we can save over what we've done. We are going to name this bed curtain. Let's export that as an FBX file so we can bring it into Substance Painter. Let me just find the right folder first. I'm calling this one Bed Curtain. Non-orthogonal, one of our objects in the scene are not perpendicular to... Okay, let me just do a reset on the XForm here. I should have remembered to do that anyway. It's always a good thing to do. Let's try that again. That's good. FX Node says reading menu names could be helpful on a Twitch stream. What are you talking about, FX Node? I can't decide what res to stream on desktop. I'm not really sure what the problem is, FX Node. Reading menu names could be helpful on a Twitch stream. Well, I guess so, maybe, if you don't tell people what you're clicking and what you're doing. Euro says, I stream 1080 at 60. My desktop is 1440p 2K. I stream 1080 at 1080p at 60 as well. And my desktop is 4K. FX Node says, I'm watching on an iPad. Okay. If you think that my menu here looks small, that's because I'm using a 4K screen. I'm not about to change the resolution of my screen just so that these little icons are bigger for you guys on stream. That's just not going to be happening and not required and not necessary. I tell you what I'm doing as I'm working anyway. But that's the reason. If you think the icons look a bit tiny, it's because I'm streaming from a 4K screen. But I stream at 1080p to Twitch because as an affiliate I have transcoding on my stream, so if you can't watch in 1080p, you can knock your screen resolution all the way down to 160p, but it'll be a blurry mess. And of course, if you're watching on a mobile phone or a tablet, then it's going to make it even worse for the icons, I'm afraid. So that explains it. Now I understand what's going on, FX Node. Okay. But yeah, that's the reason. I'm using a 4K screen, but streaming at 1080p. So OBS is shrinking my 4K screen down to 1080p. Let's export the mattress next. So we're going to call this one Bed Mattress. Before I do that, I really need to do a reset again. I must make sure I do resets on the XForm before we take it into the Unreal Engine. Otherwise, we were going to have problems with scaling. Okay. Now we can export. Euro says, I thought you were asking what settings to use to stream. Yeah, that's what I thought you were asking as well, FX Node. I thought you were saying you wanted to stream on Twitch and you were talking about that. But I think that's what you're asking, why my icons are too small to see, but that's because I'm using a 4K screen. My apologies. Let's export the pillow while we're here. Again, let's reset the export. Okay, and then all that should be left then is the actual bed itself. So same dearly, let's reset the export. You notice I do it twice. I hit this button twice and I've got 2 resets on in my stack. Now I've noticed from past experience, I do that now because sometimes in the past when I've only added 1, for some reason it hasn't stuck. Adding 2 guarantees it sticks, so that's why I always hit it twice. And this is going to be the master bed. Let's export that. Good. Let's save our file. And I don't think we need max open anymore. So I'll probably close max down and we're going to jump into Substance Painter. Just double checking to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. Got the pillow, got the curtain, got the bed. We're going to instance the pillows. We're going to instance the curtains in the Unreal Engine. Everything is color mapped, so that should be fine. Everything is UV mapped. I think we're good to go. Euro says famous last words. That's why I'm so reluctant to close max down. Not that max takes forever to open up, but I think it should be safe to close max down. Let's live dangerously. So our file is saved though. Let's make sure that's happening. Because you know I turn autosave off. I must remember to save. Let's close max down and jump into Substance Painter. Let's create a new project. Let's start by doing, jump into the right folder, Canopy Bed. Let's look at the bed curtain. We're going to compute tangent space because we're taking it into a game engine. Or we will be taking it into a game engine. Let's bake out our mesh maps at 2K using the low poly mesh as the high poly mesh. Gotta love that accelerated GPU baking in Substance Painter now. Okay. Again, this mesh is only one-sided to save on polygons when we bring it into the game engine. Again, I'm just mentioning that so people don't think, what's going on? Why is the back of the mesh missing? It's on purpose. We'll use a 2-sided shader inside of Unreal to fix the problem. So basically we can reduce our poly count in half because it's a heavy poly. It's a high poly object because of the curtain folds and all that sort of stuff. All right, let's rename the material. We're going to call it bed curtain. Now I did create a material in Substance Alchemist. Let's see if we can find it. This one here. Let's drag that down. Let's remove the blank layer from the base. And let's change our scaling. I don't know if I'm sold on this fabric actually. This is the first time I've seen it on the actual curtain. Let's see if we can maybe knock back on the height information. I think it might be a bit too much on the height. Let's see if we can change the scaling as well. I was hoping it would be more burgundy. It's looking much more gold than when I designed the shader. I didn't realize it would actually look quite as gold. That's annoying, very annoying. So I didn't actually make any others. I thought that this one would be okay. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong. I mean, I was hoping for it to be a bit more burgundy though. Less gold, more burgundy. It'll work, it'll work. It's just, yeah, golder than I thought it would be. I'm just have a quick look through my shaders here to see if there is another fabric that I might like better, but I really don't think I do have one. I designed that one specifically for the bed. FX Node says, I'm always thinking about repurposing my Twitch stream for tutorials on YouTube. That's what I do. Gumroad, so menu legibility is important. Not every one goal, I get it. But just getting a bit more value out of the screen capture. Yeah, well, look, I understand where you're coming from. But that's not an issue I'm concerned with, FX Node. I do put all my streams on YouTube as well, and people watch my YouTube videos without a problem. I haven't had anyone complain to me, put it that way. But that's because I constantly talk anyway. So I explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I'm not like a lot of creative streamers who don't talk. They play music, they work, but they don't really explain what they're doing as they're doing it, whereas I do. So it's less important for me or for people that watch my streams or my YouTube videos. But if you are one of those creative streamers who just likes to work, then I can see it would be more important. Yeah, I don't really think I've got another fabric here that's going to be suitable. I could make another one. I wasn't really intending to do that on this stream today though, so what we might do is it's not bad. Look, don't get me, I think it might work. It's just golder than I thought it would be more burgundy and less gold. That's my only issue. I think it'll work. We'll go with this burgundy, unless I can create something better before we jump into UE4 to start designing and putting the bedroom together. We'll stick with this one. But we do want to make sure that the curtain tie down here is not the same texture. So let's find something that will be good for the curtain tie. Actually, what I'm going to do too is I'm going to duplicate the layer. Let's see if we can't do something with the colouring a little bit. Duplicate layer. Now I can't change any of the parameters because like I said, I made this shader in Substance Painter. I'm going to turn off the height and the normal though because we don't want to double up on that. But let's see if we can do something with the blending modes here. So we'll just go through all the blending modes. We'll see what the different ones do for us. That is subtract. That is... Alright, there are a couple here that were interesting. We might be able to do something interesting with them. Not that one. It was the pin light. Maybe the highlight one, or maybe the subtract, I think it is. So we have the original and then this one over the top of it. We can throw down a smart mask. Let's see, what do we got here? What do we have? Let's look at... let's look at the dust soft one. Just because it's a dust smart mask doesn't mean we can't repurpose it for something else. I don't know. That this one will be useful. I might have to choose a different smart mask. I'll just see how I go here. We can always layer the smart masks anyway. Ambient occlusion. Let's pull in on the ambient occlusion. Curvature. No, we'll pull back a bit on the curvature. And the world space normal. It's not really doing much for us. And the position gradient is also not doing a lot. Thickness. We'll leave the thickness down. Alright. So I'm just adding a bit more variation in colour to the fabric. What I might do again is what do I want to do here? Let's go back to our materials. I'm going to group these two together. Let's jump back into our materials. I just want to see whether I've got a fabric that's plain. I want a plain looking fabric. So what have we got here? We have bamboo fabric, denim, knitted sweater, no, knitted wool, no, fabric rough. Maybe fabric rough if we can change the colour. You'll see I only have a few fabric shaders here. I don't tend to work with, if I need fabric I tend to make it myself. I don't download a lot of different fabrics from Substance. Let's go with, let's look at this fabric rough. I'm just going to throw that on the very top. Let's change the scaling. I'm going to turn off the height information and the normal. Don't know if I can get it small enough for what I want. going to turn off the underlying layer too because it's distracting me. We want it to be quite fine. Let's change the color. Let's set it into more of a goldy sort of color. Or we could go with more of a burgundy. If I want to bring out the burgundy in the curtain, that might be more interesting. So if I set it to more of a burgundy, we turn back on the underlying layer and then we use a smart mask. And let's look at fabric edge damage. We'll see what that looks like. We can change our balance a little bit. I'm just going to maybe pull back a little on the balance, pull up a little on the contrast. Maybe pull back a little bit on the curvature. Pull up on the world space normal a little bit. You can see what that's doing. It's adding like a wear on the curtain edges here. But we're going to do it. We'll change the color in a minute. Contigi, it's good to see you, Contigi. How are you? How's things? How was your weekend? What you been up to? It's good to see you though, Contigi. I hope you're well. Always good to see you. Contigi, you're not in you're not in New Zealand, are you? I think I've asked you this before, and I think I thought you were. Or are you? Are you in New Zealand? Just curious, because I was at one stage I was looking at going applying for work. There's a studio in New Zealand in Auckland that were looking for people that had experience with the Unreal Engine, and I was considering going to work for them at one stage, and I just thought, just wasn't sure whether you were in New Zealand or not. I think maybe you're in the US and I thought you were in New Zealand. Maybe. Probably. Let's just jump back into the color here. Yura says, seems Algorithmic made good on their promise not to go full Adobe on their educational licensing. Did they? Because I think Adobe just put up the price of their, was it Adobe or was it Autodesk? I know Autodesk did. I think Adobe did too. I think they just increased the price of the subscription. I know Autodesk have. Cheeky buggers, Autodesk. They've just increased their subscription price. But it's good to hear then, Euro, that Algorithmic aren't going to, well, Adobe, we should say. It's not Algorithmic anymore, is it? It's Adobe now. Contigi says, busy lately, trying to take some time off here soon. No, I'm actually living in Southern California. I've asked, that's what I thought, Southern California, but I'm not native here. Oh, okay. But yeah, I thought maybe because of the name Contigi, I thought you were in New Zealand. I think I do have, there is a guy that watches me from time to time. I'm pretty sure he is in New Zealand. What is his name? His username? Gone. But yeah, and then I thought, as soon as I said it, I thought, oh no, I'm sure I've asked Contigi that before, and I'm sure he said he's in the US. Yuri says, yeah, educational, but taking some time off though, Contigi sounds cool. Euro says, educational license for substance is free, provided you can verify you're at a legit uni. Well, that's very cool. Way to go, Adobe. Because I know that they have reduced subscription fees if you're a student. You can have you have to subscribe to use their software now. You can get an educational subscription where you used to be able to, that was cheap. But it's good if they're giving you a license for free, if you can verify you're at a legit uni. Euro says they got quite a lot of heated feedback on the topic of going Adobe with the educational license. Okay. Well, that explains it then. It's not Adobe being so generous, it's just the fact that they don't want the bad PR. So they're, well, it's still, either way, it's a good deal. If it's free for an educational license, I think that's a very good deal. It's the same with Autodesk. I've mentioned to you guys before, if you want to use Maya, 3D Studio Max, I think Revit, any of the most, not all, but most of the Autodesk software, you can get a free 3-year license from Autodesk if you're a student or a teacher. You need a student email, but they'll give you a license for 3 years. You can't use the software commercially, but it's fully functional. It's the same software everyone else uses. They give you a license key that you enter into the software, which turns it from trial to full version, and it lasts for 3 years. So yeah, remember that too. Autodesk, if you're a student, give you a free 3-year license as well. Contigi says, yeah, we were talking about me quitting my job last year. Did you quit your job, Contigi? Because you're not the only one. Somebody else did as well recently. Was it you, Euro? Were you the one that quit your job to go freelance? Was that you? But I do remember Contigi mentioning that. FX Node says, but I'm all got out and Blender these days. All got out and Blender. Blender's a great piece of 3D software, FX Node. Really is. I know a few of the guys that watch me, a couple of them use Blender. Of course, Epic Games just invested $1 million, or donated $1 million to the Blender Foundation. So if Epic have faith in the software, you know it's good. I'm just playing around with the color here of this underlying layer a little bit. Darken it up a bit. So it's looking like we're getting a bit of wear on the edges of the curtain. That's basically the look I'm going for. I'm trying to make the shader work, even though I thought it was too gold. We can sort of knock it back a little bit. Euro says you can get Substance Perpetual on Steam with 1 year support for cheaper than their website. Yeah, I heard that, but I think they're removing it from Steam soon. So if you do want to do it soon. Because I heard that they were actually going to they're going to remove it from Steam. I'm pretty sure. Euro says nope, it wasn't you. Who was it? Let me look in the Discord. It was someone, one of my regulars that quit their job and is doing freelance stuff now, which is cool. I do a lot of freelance work as well when I get time, but I have a job. I need to pay bills. I couldn't. I have before. I've worked freelance and only freelance, but it's stressful. I mean, it's good because you don't have a boss, but it's stressful. Contigi says, yep, I quit about 1.5 years ago. But so I went on vacation for a bit, then went full blown into modelling. But what, Contigi? What's the but? Euro says, I quit my career job in construction 3+ years ago to do a degree. Was doing freelance before and during though. It's good to do freelance work. I mean, if you can find there's usually a lot of work around. Provided you don't price yourself either too cheap or too expensively, then generally you can pick up work pretty easily and pretty quickly. It's just freelance work if you don't have a steady income, a steady job, because you're paid on a per job basis. And you are going to get clients occasionally that don't want to pay, because that's just, because there are just assholes in the world. You do the work for them and they don't want to pay. So you occasionally you're going to run into people that won't pay you on time, or they won't pay you at all. Then you've got to take them to court and stuff. But so it can be stressful doing freelance stuff, but you can make much more money. being a freelance artist than working for a studio. You set your rates, you work as much or as little as you want, and you're your own boss, so you can take projects, you can pick and choose what projects you want to do. So it is good. I'm not saying it's not good. I've done it and I do it as well as work for a studio. Well, I'm working for 2 studios at the moment, but anyway. But what's the but, Contiki? Euro says, Epic's Note says, more of an indie choice than a AAA studio choice, possibly? Are you talking about Blender, Epic's Note? I don't know. There are a few studios that use Blender. I know a few studios that use Blender. I can't speak for large studios like Ubisoft or EA or anything like that, but they generally use Maya or Max, I think. I think that's still the case. All the studios I've worked at, it's either generally been Maya or Max, but Blender is a great piece of 3D software and it's coming along really, really nicely with all the updates they've been doing to it. Contigi says, got called from my previous employer last October and got an offer I couldn't refuse, unfortunately. Well, that's all right. That's nice. That's flattering if they called you up and they wanted you back. I think that's very flattering. And if they made you an offer you couldn't refuse, well then why refuse it? Hero says freelancers like 60% time management and contract negotiation and 40% actual work. But you get to call the shots on your hours of work and the projects as well. You get to call the shots on what projects you do. Like, you know, if somebody wants some work done and you're not feeling it, you think that, I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm interested in doing. I won't, then you don't take the job. That's what I like about freelance work. You can pick and choose your projects. You can do that in the studio too, actually, to some degree, depending on what level you are in the studio and the variety of work the studio brings in. You can pick and choose sometimes in the studio as well. Like even a games company, like the last games company I worked at, they were doing 3 games at the same time and they asked you which one you wanted to work on. So, you know, they try and be flexible if you are working for a studio. Contigi says, still doing good, still doing modelling, good. Though but at a slower pace. Well, you don't have to rush through it. It's not a race, it's not a competition. You take your time, you do it when you feel it, you don't do it when you don't. I've said that to you guys before. There's no point forcing yourself to do something you're not enjoying because you're not going to do a good job anyway. So if you're tired or you're not feeling it, then don't do it. Having said that, practice makes perfect, and the more you do it, the better you'll get. Epic's Note says, third up front. Euro says, Ubisoft they funded Blender tool. There you go, Ubisoft are using Blender. So Smurfberry says Blender still has a bunch of weird little oddities. FX Note says, yes, Blender great for indie. It is great for indie because it's free. You don't pay for it, like the Unreal Engine. You can use that to make a game and it's free to download and use. You have to pay 5% royalties to Epic after $3,000 of sales, but you get it. You can download it for free. You can use it for free. If you don't make money on whatever you're making, then you don't have to pay Epic anything. So Blender free, UE4 free. What's the other one? Unity, that's free as well. So not just saying use UE4. Unity is free too. There's all these free tools now that were never around 10 years ago. So the opportunity to do whatever you want to do in 3D or games or ArchViz or whatever has never been better than now. Euro says, for jobs don't want, I just quote price that's high rather than refuse it. Let them do the refusing. If they want to pay that, then so be it. Well, that sounds like a good plan of action, but if I really didn't want to do the job, I don't care what they're paying. I just don't want to do it. Phil. But yeah, no, if I'm not, I have to enjoy what I'm doing, and I do. Generally, most 3D work I like doing anyway. But there are some jobs that I really do not interest me at all. So, and they're the ones I generally will not do. Well, I won't even. Yeah, I'll just generally say, I'm sorry, but I'm too busy. I don't have the time to do the project. If they approach me and say, oh, do you want to do this project? I usually say that. I don't quote a high price, and then if they accept it, I have to do it. I just generally say, oh, I'm just too busy to do it. Most of the time that's true anyway. Sniper Echo, evening to you. How are you going, Sniper? What you been up to? How's that project coming along? But I hope you're well, hope you're not stressing. Hope everything's going good. Euro says, some stuff I have flat out refused due to ethics and moral standards. That's a good point. I've refused to do work in the gambling industry. I will not work for the gambling industry. I've been approached a few times to actually do, slot machines and all those, the graphics and stuff for slot machines in casinos. I've been approached a few times to do work in that industry, and I've always said no. I refuse to work in the gambling industry because it destroys too many lives. I'm not going to contribute to something that's so harmful to society and to people. So I feel where you're coming from there, Euro. Sniper says, Contigi says, wait a tick. That's what you told me, Phil. What did I tell you? Euro says, hey, Sniper. Contigi says, you told me you were too busy. Oops. Most of the time I am too busy. You didn't. He's been cheeky. Most of the time I am just genuinely too busy. That is the truth. But I will admit that there have been occasions where I've said that I'm too busy because I didn't want to do the project. Where I could have fit the project in, but just really didn't want to do it. Wasn't feeling it, didn't want to do it. I'm just going to see if maybe if we throw one more smart mask down, if it improves it or not. We can always remove it if we don't like it. Let's go with... Let's look at this fabric threads one. That's an interesting smart mask. Just going to play with this smart mask a little bit and see what it's doing. I'm going to turn invert on because it's easier for me to see what the mask is actually doing. I'm going to turn the underlying one off. So I'm just not quite sure what this mask is, how this mask is, what it's actually trying to do. So if I pull up on that, let's look at the next mask on top of that one now. Okay, so it's got a scale value for the effect that it's laying down. Histogram position, we can load it up or bring it back. Maybe if we pull it back a little bit. The histogram contrast, maybe if we pull back on that a little bit. And the disorder. Okay, that's all good. Let's change this from multiply to pass through. Let's change this from multiply to pass through. Sorry, from normal to pass through. And turn on our underlying layer again. And I'm just going to pull back a little bit here on the mix. So I just want to pull it in a little bit. Well, I just want to darken it up. I'm trying to take out a little bit of the gold in the curtain because it's just a bit too gold. That's better. Bringing back a bit more of the burgundy that I wanted originally. That's good to hear you're doing good, Sniper Echo. Smurpery says, take a stand, Phil. That's right. Euro says, those curtains turned out nice. Now that we've knocked back on the gold a little bit, yeah, it's much better. But I'm glad you liked them, Euro. So yes, we just used the mask, we duplicated the layer, we duplicated the same texture, we darkened up one layer, and then we just used some smart mask just to knock the curtain colour back a little bit and add a little bit of wear and tear on it, because the curtain again it's old. It's on a bed in a bedroom. It's been locked for 100 years, so it's pretty old. We could also do one more layer again and do a dirt layer. So let's have a look at our materials. Actually do have, I think I created a smart material for dirt. I can't, I'm trying to remember if I did or not. FX Node says, how was the cloth generated? I made the cloth in Substance Alchemist, FX Node. So I jumped into Alchemist, Substance Alchemist. Hopefully you can see it. Let me get my chair out of the way. There we go. Alchemist by the same people that make Substance Painter by Adobe now. I made the actual shader in Alchemist because I wanted a particular look for the bedrooms, for the curtains for the bed. Just trying to find where it is here. That's it there. So that's the shader I made in Alchemist. Oh, how was the cloth generated? The cloth was made using Mass Effects inside of 3D Studio Max. So basically you hang a flat basically Mass Effects, cloth effects inside of 3D Studio Max. It's built into Max. It's not a third-party plugin. It comes as part of 3D Studio Max. You can make cloth objects. That's how I created it. Android Lust says, hey Android Lust, it's good to see you. Is your internet working? Which is good to hear. It's good to see you, Android Lust. Android Lust says, well, I just buffered in 360p. Oh no. That's terrible. I was saying to the guys, I had to restart the stream 4 times this morning before I could actually go live because I was getting network errors every time I tried to stream to Twitch. So maybe Twitch is twitching as it usually does, Android Lust. It might be a bit to do with Twitch this time as well. But it's good to see you. FX Node says, sorry, the geometry. Yes, the geometry is made in 3D Studio Max. Sorry, FX Node, using the built-in Mass Effects tools in Max. They have a bunch of different tools you can use to actually create cloth. Sniper says, is it time? I wonder, Phil. He wants to hit that silence me button for 5 minutes so bad. Sniper Echo. That's why you look. You guys have at it, but you can only use it twice per stream. That's twice for everyone. It can only be set off twice per stream, and basically it's stream points for anyone that doesn't know. There's something that you get from watching streams. You accumulate stream points, and I have one where you can silence me for 5 minutes because everyone knows how much I hate not talking. It's in my DNA to constantly be a motor mouth and never shut up. So having to silence me for 5 minutes is a punishment for me. Euro says that's better than not anything in 160p. I guess that's true. 160p is like a blurry mess. Sniper says, I feel your pain, Android Lust. I do too, because we have potato internet in Australia most of the time as well. Android Lust says, I'll deal with 160p. I must look so pretty in 160p with it's just a blur. An improvement on my face, I'm sure. So Android Lust says, sorry I'm late. I'm attempting Cube Brush's little 3D competition. What's the competition, Android Lust? What's the comp that Cube Brush are running? Contigi says, hi to Sniper. Sniper says, twice per stream and then twice per mod, according to the docs. Oh no, is that true? Can mods do it twice as well? I have to look at that. That'll be dangerous. I can't be muted for 20 minutes. That'd be insane. Insane. I cannot not talk for 20 minutes. Sniper Echo says, doing good. FX Node says Metashape or reality capture or both. Reality capture. I use both. I use context capture, Metashape, and reality capture. the studio I work for, the ArchViz studio, we tend to use context capture. But for my own personal work, I use reality capture because it's GPU accelerated and incredibly fast and does a really good job. Metashape have just been they've just updated Metashape. Agisoft, the company that make it, the Russian company that make it. I believe they're Russian. And it's supposed. I haven't updated them to the new version yet. I really should because they've added a lot of new features to it. And they're all very good, all great photogrammetry software. But I use Reality Capture FX Node for my personal stuff. Sniper says you can't be muted for 20 minutes time. So Phil. I didn't say I couldn't. I said you shouldn't. Sniper says I can help with that. Android, oh, he has. Look at him. Oh, he's so cheeky. Seriously? Oh, man. Oh, Euro has done it to me. Oh. All right, Euro has requested that I be silent for 5 minutes. So starting now, I cannot speak for the next 5 minutes. And time is up. That's 5 minutes. Man, that kills me every time I got to do it. Sniper is asking me, are you adding the 20k for Phil twerking? No, I am not, because I don't trust you guys. Sniper Echo's probably got 20. I'm sure he has, because he's been with me. He was one of the first people to watch me stream. I'm not sure how retroactively points accumulate, but I'm sure he's got enough to make me twerk, and I'm not going to be twerking. So no, there are no points to make Phil twerk. There will never be points to make Phil twerk. I'm just going to group these two together. We're going to mask with color selection again so that it only affects the tie. You don't want to see me twerk. You really, really, really don't. What a nightmare. But I think I might raise the points value to silence me. I think that might be a good idea. We'll make it so that if you really want to do it, you're going to have to use a lot of points. I mean, I'm not going to make it... I won't make it outrageously high, but I'm certainly going to make it higher than it is now. Android Lost says, too bad I can't see the curtain texture. 160p, just make it look like a rust bucket. Do remember though too, I always put all my streams up on... They're always available to watch it when... via my videos tab at the top of my Twitch page, so you can watch it that way maybe. I know it's not the same as watching live though. Sniper says, or the 100,000k for Phil to use ZBrush for a whole project. Ooh, that'd be that would be torture for me, because you know how much I hate ZBrush. Forcing me to use ZBrush. Ooh. FX Node says, I was wondering about an OBS mouse magnifier when you could have super high res display and see menu on screen too. You could do that. That's an option. There are those programs available where you can use those magnifiers. True. I'm not sure off the top of my head of one, but I'm sure they're around. There's programs you can use to show what key presses you press on the keyboard as well as you press them. Sniper says, surely don't have 20k. I bet you do. Sniper says, to FX Node, that would be handy. Euro says, I don't even get the whole twerk thing. It's not pretty at all. I don't get it either. I agree, it is not pretty. It's not pretty. Twerking is not pretty. Just gonna pull in a little bit. I should make that a different colour. Instead of a gold and a silver, I wonder if I should make it like a blue. Let's see what a blue looks like. I'm just curious now whether a blue might be interesting. In fact, what we're going to do, so I don't have to muck around changing colours back again, I'm going to duplicate that entire group. And I'm just going to change the colour on the duplicated group. We'll see if the cable ties, it with a bluish tint looks interesting. They're normally a gold, usually tie backs. Sniper says, sure Phil, sounds good, I'm loaded, so it's whatever. It's the fear of it being redeemed. That's right, Sniper says to Euro. Android Lost says, Legmog loves twerking. Does he really? Does Legmog really like to twerk? I hope not. Sniper says, oh yeah, we need the Legmog to help us out with ideas for the... Yes, actually, Legmog would be good. I hope his gym is going well. He's been doing the gym at like 1 in the morning. Euro says tiebacks usually match the curtains. Yeah, I know they usually do. Yeah, I know that's true. They do usually match the curtains. I was just thinking like a contrasty colour might make them stand out a bit more, but I agree. You are correct. Let's just remove the duplicated layer there, and we'll keep it at a goldy silver colour so it matches the curtains. Let's do a save here. So before we move on to the rest of it. So we're in the canopy bed and we're doing the bed curtains. The only other thing I was thinking of adding is maybe a dirt layer, maybe adding a bit of dirt. So let's see what that looks like. Euro says a maroon red might go with them. Then actually that's true. Actually, you're very wise there, Euro. That's a very good observation. Let's duplicate this layer again. Turn off the underlying layer and let's see what a maroni reddy colour does look like, because that could look quite interesting. Android Lost says, I have no suggestions, it all looks brown to me. Oh, Android Lost. Yeah, unless we change the colour to make it lighter, it's not going to pop. We could make it a lighter maroni colour here, pinky maroon. It's going to jump back to the underlying one and we're going to change that colour a little bit as well. So what do you guys think? Do you think the more maroni colour to match the curtain, or do you think the gold? Gold, maroon. Gold, maroon. What do you think? You tell me what you guys think. Apex Node says, any camera body and lens recommendations for photogrammetry work? The highest megapixel count you can afford is always good. Anything basically, over 8 megapixels minimum, but the higher the better. A mirrorless camera will be the best for making sure you don't get, but because it's mirrorless, you won't get, what's the word I'm looking for? It'll produce a cleaner looking mesh. You won't get so much, it's like a buzz going through the photo. I can't remember the word for it now. So the highest megapixel you can afford, if you can afford mirrorless would be better. They are expensive though, mirrorless cameras. You don't want to use any zoom lenses at all, no zooms. You can use a fisheye lens, but don't use a zoom lens when you're taking your photos. And any tripod should be good. I do recommend a tripod to make sure you get very still shots as well. But you don't want to turn on image stabilization or any of that sort of stuff either to do photogrammetry. You don't none of those effects that the camera puts on the photo. It needs to be, otherwise the triangulation won't work properly inside the software. Android Lost says, so the project is due on February 8th. I'll post the finished project on Discord. If I finish, I started late. Do Android Lost. And again, you guys should check out the Discord server if you haven't. If you're watching my stream for the first time, click the link I've just popped into Twitch chat and join the Phil Does 3D Discord. They're a very helpful group of guys and girls on the Discord. They're all very friendly, very helpful. I'm just going to change this red color a little bit. Make it just a bit more of a red. Maybe just take out a bit of the saturation. Yes, join the Discord server. There's a gallery where you can post links to your work, and Android Lost has posted a lot of his work. He does some really lovely character modeling and texturing. So I look forward to seeing it, Android Lost. Please do show if you get it done in time. Or even if you don't, if you just, I like to look at all the work you guys and girls are doing, regardless of what your skill level is and regardless of what it is. Sniper says, I'm sure you will get it done. I'm sure he will too. He's a machine. A machine. Euro says the red pops more, the gold blends more because it's darker. Yeah, so that's Euro saying the red because it pops more. What do you guys think? I would agree that the red does pop more. Like if we pull back here and look at it from a bit of a distance, we've got the gold and then we've got the red. Red, gold. The gold does tend to get lost a little bit in the curtain, whereas the red does pop a little more. So Euro says red. I know, I have my opinion. What do you guys think? FX Node says, what is the target poly count for the asset? I don't really have a target poly count. I don't work that way. You should. Particularly, depending on the type of game you're making, it's really going to affect that sort of thing. But because the game I'm working on with the game studio is a single player, not multiplayer, there are no other characters in the game. There are no, so I can afford to up the poly count. But we still have to watch that sort of thing. And again, that's why the curtain is only one-sided, to reduce the poly count to half. There are no polys on the backside. So yeah, I couldn't really tell you what the actual poly count budget is as such. We sort of, because I'm the creative director for the project, and I sort of play it by ear. That's part of my job. So I'm the creative director and the technical artist, big sounding word, for the games studio project. Yura says I'm kind of 50-50. Yeah, they both look, either one. I'm not saying the gold doesn't look good. The gold does, and the gold is what people would choose if they put it in their home, but the burgundy, they could choose a burgundy as well. So I'm 50-50 as well, Euro. Android Lost says I can actually see the red in 160p, so maybe the red is better. So that says something. There we go. Android Lost had the final deciding vote there. We're going to go with the burgundy red as opposed to the gold. Either one would look fine, but I think the burgundy red just pops a bit more and probably will be popping a little bit, will look a bit more noticeable inside the game engine as well when the player is playing. Because there's no point in us including all this lovely detail if the player doesn't notice it. So, burgundy red it is. FX Node says, do reach apology and bake it in max if need be. You're talking about the curtain, FX Node? So now, I'm just not sure why you think it should be reach apologized and then baked. Unless you say, it's not that high a poly, a mesh. It's not like 100,000 polygons, this curtain. It's not. So it's not really necessary to do a bake out. And the thing you've got to be careful with when you start trying to rely too much on normal map baking to fake 3D detail is in the silhouette. So when it's looked at from side on in silhouette, if that was just a flat plane and we're faking all of this with normal maps, when the player runs around the bed and looks at it from the side, they're going to see that's a plane. It's going to look like crap. I mean, that might have been good for games 10, 15 years ago, but not anymore. People these days expect things to look good. And if they don't look good, they won't buy your game. So yeah, you've always got to be careful of the silhouette on anything that you want to bake out to a low poly mesh. Now, I'm not saying you couldn't do it. You could make the low poly mesh low enough that or high enough that you can still keep the folds. But that's pretty much what this mesh is like now anyway. It's not a super high poly. I mean, it's not like, 1,000 polys, but it's not 100,000 polys either. Euro says, export both and make your mind up in-game. Well, how about this? We're going to go with the burgundy red. I'm not going to delete the gold layer, I'm just going to turn it off. And we can save the file, and that way we can choose later on if we want to. We can come back and we can save out the gold version. Simple. Android Lost says, I don't even know how high the poly is. FX Node says, I was thinking build at whatever res you like. Oh no, that's a good way to work. So FX Node is saying you build at whatever resolution you want, you don't worry about it. So you build a super high polygon mesh, and then you retopologize to a lower poly, and then you bake out. That's a good thing to do. When you do photogrammetry work, that's a lot of the time you might need to do that with photogrammetry, because a photogrammetry software gives you super mega high resolution, high polygon models. Like we're talking tens of millions of polygons from photogrammetry, and you can't bring a 10 million polygon model into a game engine, so that needs to be baked down. It either needs to be baked down, retopologized and baked down, or it needs to be optimized. So if you bring it into a game engine, I generally optimize it before I'd bake it down, because it's quicker and easier. If you can't get a good result from optimization, then do a retopologize and bake it down. But no, that's a good way to work. I'm not saying it's a bad way to work. That is a good way to work. This model was originally much higher polygon, because you need a really high poly mesh to make cloth physics in 3D Studio Max. It won't work with a mesh that's too low. So you need a really high poly plane to create the fabric, which I then optimized down to a lower poly mesh. I didn't retopologize on this, but I did optimize. So. And remove the back faces, of course. But that's a good way to work, FX Node. I'm not saying it's not. Euro says export 2 gig object, that's right. 2 gigabyte object FX Node. 2 gigabyte OBJ. FX Node says Maya was having issues. I'm sure it was. Euro says my high polys ain't care about poly count. Usually retopology and or bake to fit what I'm doing. Yeah, well, that's just the choice of whether to retopologize, whether to optimize, or whether to use a high poly or a low poly mesh really depends on what the thing is going to be used for. If it's going to go into a game engine, if it's going to be used in a renderer like V-Ray or Mental Ray or whatever. Yeah, it really depends on the use case of the model as to which direction you're going to go for what. And it sometimes really depends on the actual asset as well, the actual 3D object. Because like I said, sometimes you can't optimize some 3D models, they just don't optimize really well, in which case then you've got to retopologize. And doing a bake out though from a high to a low is a good way to get detailed in a lower poly model for sure. And generally, if you're doing photogrammetry, that's basically what you're going to have to do anyway, because the polygon counts are huge. Euro says it's just a normal process, to be honest. It is, that's right. That's what we all have to do when we're working on our stuff, depending on what we're working on it for, whether we're doing a game or we're doing a render, or because it really depends. Because when you're doing an offline render using V-Ray or that sort of thing, you can even proxify your object, so you can work with a massively high polygon model that is only pulled into memory when the program starts to do the render. So you don't slow your whole project down by having all these really super high poly meshes loaded in a scene. You just use a proxy, and then when the renderer goes through to actually render the object, it loads it in from disk then. So, yeah. So in that case, you can go nuts and not worry about your poly count at all. But if you're doing a game, you've got to think about that sort of thing a bit more. The game engine can't throw tens of millions of polygon objects around. It just can't do it. As good as video cards are nowadays, they're not that good. Android Lust says, I thought the texture resolution was more important than poly count, or optimization depending on the asset, of course. Well, texture resolution is really important as well. You've been noticing that all of the textures most of them, depending on the object, it really depends on the size of the object in the game, whether it's a third-person camera or a first-person camera. That'll also affect how high the resolution of your texture maps have to be. But you'll notice that most of my textures I'm saving out at 2K. The advantage of using Substance Painter is we can save out at any resolution we want, from 256 up to 4K. I don't know if it does 8K, but I generally save out at 2K for the game that I'm working on with the game studio. So most of my assets in the engine are 2K textured. So yeah, and the texture map is really important. If it's too low, the object's going to look muddy. So regardless of how nice the model is, if the texture map resolution isn't high enough, it's going to make the thing look like crap. Having said that, remember I've said to you guys, you can make a really rubbish looking model look amazing with the right lighting. It's all in the lighting. Lighting is the most important thing to your scenes, whether you're doing renders or doing a game. Lighting can make a crap model look wonderful. You can hide a lot of crap with good lighting. But texture maps are important as well, Android Lost. You are completely correct. Euro says, in my library I have a 21 million poly World War II cannon. Low poly is like 17,000 tries. Well, that's a good example of going from 21 million to 17,000. 17,000 tries. That's 10 to 20 to 30,000 polygon objects now are pretty normal for games. Gone are the days where it used to be 2,000 or 3,000 polys max. That's 10 years ago. That's not today. That is not the world we live in anymore. Our video cards are incredibly powerful now. They can and game engines like the Unreal Engine, like Unity, can throw a lot of polygons around. Not 10 million poly objects, but a lot of polygons. Euro says it has lots of bits, to be fair. FX Node says, have UDIMs made their way into game engines? Yes, they have. You can use UDIMs, I believe, in the Unreal Engine now. I'm not sure about Unity, but I know in Unreal, UDIMs are a new thing. It's only been in the last couple of releases of the engine that you can use UDIMs. But yes, UDIMs are making an appearance in games now. And UDIMs are wonderful. We all love UDIMs. Android Lust says, lighting makes my crap models look okay. You don't have crap models. I've seen your work. Don't say that, Android Lust. Your work is wonderful. You make beautiful work. Again, jump on the Discord server, jump into the gallery, look at Android Lust's work. He makes really lovely stuff. None of your work is crap. You don't have to hide anything with good lighting because you do good modeling and good texturing. Oh, Android Lust. Oh man, so we've done the curtain. So we started texturing the model up. Next week we're going to continue working on the bed, but I think we might call it a day. I do want to thank you guys very much though for hanging out with me and for watching. I am live, remember, every Monday and Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the United States, which is around 1 a.m. if you're in Europe. I do want to thank you guys very much though for hanging out with me and for watching and for being here. I do appreciate it. Remember, if you're new to the channel and you like the stream, to follow my Twitch page, my Twitch channel. You can also follow me on social media, of course, on Twitter at PhilDoes3D, and join the PhilDoes3D Discord server. Also, again, I'm going to remind you, if you want to wishlist the game that I'm creating that you see me working on here now, you can click the graphic below my stream for the House in the Hollow game, and that'll take you to Steam, where you can wishlist the game. It's not due for release until the end of the year though. But yes, again, thank you guys very much for being here and for watching and for hanging out. I will be live again on Monday next week. You guys and girls have a great weekend. Take care, and hopefully I will see you all on Monday next week. See you guys.